Hey everybody, preparing once again for another exciting episode of Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. You know, I love talking to these amazing people that connect all around the world. I'm finding these incredible people, and today we have another great one. Here we go.
And I love bringing people together, love being a connector and making sure people have the resources they need to be successful. So I put together my virtual summit end of May and excited to keep going down that path as well.
Do you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. Today's episode brought to you by H&R Block of Albany, Corvallis, Lebanon, and Kaiser. Also, Margin Coffee in downtown Albany. Great atmosphere and great coffee. Hey everybody, Russ here with another episode of Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. So excited for today's episode. A really good new friend that I have met recently, Andrew Weiss, who is just a super connector online with all that he's doing. So excited to hear about that. But before we get into that, I want to just remind you that I am Russ Hedge, coach and motivational speaker. There is so much information about me online on my website, russhedge.com, and links to all of my social media. And I love connecting on social media. So please reach out and connect with me. And there you go. Without further ado about me, I want to move to Andrew and hear all about what he's been doing and a little bit about him. So Andrew, welcome.
Thank you, Russ. Happy to be here.
Great. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so just to get some more context, my background, essentially when I was in college at University of Oregon, go Ducks, represent, I got myself into Toastmasters, the International Public Speaking Club, and that's where I really discovered my passion for public speaking and inspiring others in the process. And after getting involved with public speaking, I spent 3 years traveling around the entire state of Oregon and teaching professional skills to organizations and companies and students, and making sure that we learned how to teach entrepreneurship around the entire state. And most recently, after learning these entrepreneurial skills, I actually hosted my own virtual summit at the end of May because I had some event planning experience while I was in Greek life at Oregon. And I love bringing people together, love being a connector and making sure people have the resources they need to be successful. So I put together my virtual summit end of May and excited to keep going down that path as well.
That is so awesome. And just a little bit about yourself. You're living in Oregon. Are you a family man? Do you have a significant other yet?
I'm currently in Oregon and I'm currently single. So if there's
Okay.
any ladies listening in, I am single.
There you go. All the single ladies in the audience said, whoop, whoop. All right.
Oh yeah, going hard.
Good to go. All right. So very interesting. Of course, we have joked about it before. You're a duck. I'm a beaver. Went to Oregon State. We were both obviously in Greek life though. So that was an interesting, connection there. And what house were you in?
I was in Delta Tau Delta. Were they there while you were there?
I think so. Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Very good. All right. Well, I really love your connection skills and how you built up your speaking abilities and how you teach other people to do that. That's so awesome. But during this whole COVID time, it's been harder and harder to connect. People have really had to be creative, and the people that have really moved forward and been creative have found great ways like you. And let's talk a little bit more about the virtual summit and all that you did there. Tell us more about that event that's already happened.
Yeah. So honestly, I was trying to put together a live event at the beginning of the year, and when COVID happened and live events weren't allowed, with the entrepreneurial spirit, I thought the show must go on. I still need to make it happen. And so I was actually working with another event planning team to help put together this live event, which then transitioned into a virtual event. And what was so awesome about the experience is how willing people are to help with basically everything, how willing speakers are to say yes. And I believe that's because of COVID, speakers don't really have very many live opportunities right now. And it's extra convenient for them to be able to do multiple speeches per day. because without pre-COVID, we used to be called, or BC, before COVID, speakers, some of the top book speakers, they could give maybe 200, maybe 250 speeches per year. Now, during COVID times, they can do every speech from their virtual screen. They could probably give 300 to 400 speeches per year easily. And
Wow.
so being able to take advantage of the current situation and turn it to a virtual summit, really the summit was called Fight the Fluff, because as someone who's in the entrepreneurial and coaching space, I can't stand it when I get information that isn't actually helpful, and it's fluff, it's metaphorical, and now too many analogies, but it's like, okay, what do I actually do? Where's the actual content? And so I knew I wanted to create an event that gives it straight to the point, technical skill setting, bringing great people together. And the point of the event was to teach people who wanted to get into the coaching or virtual online service space from A to high ticket, essentially, starting from scratch and then being able to sell high ticket programs at $3,000, $5,000 essentially. And it was really awesome to put together this first virtual summit and bring in all these top speakers. And I definitely couldn't have done it without my team, Unified Events, helping me out and getting other guidance as well. And it was definitely an incredible experience because of all the opportunities that came afterwards as well, including the current project I'm working on called Podfest Global Summit, happening August 10th to the 15th, and recommend checking that out too.
That is just incredible. You are relatively a young man compared to me, although I feel young and, we're young at heart. But it is so much wisdom that you have in what you've done already. And I think that you really nailed it on the head with coaches. Of course, I'm newer in this arena, although it's the same type of work I've done for 30 plus years, but, new in the coaching arena. And it's interesting as you navigate through that to be really content driven and also very authentic to the crowd you're going after. And I think that you really portray that. You're really giving people something instead of, like you said, just fluff. And so that is so awesome. I heard nothing but good things, and I've talked to several people that were involved in that initial virtual summit. And so that's great. And so you just mentioned a little bit more about Podfest coming up. So we are launching into an even bigger thing. Tell us more about Podfest.
Yeah, so Podfest actually started in 2013 by a guy named Chris Kremitzos, and he had a vision of bringing communities together just like myself, and he was passionate about the podcasting community. And so he's been hosting these podcasting meetups the past 7 years. He hosted a huge event in March, right before COVID, right before everything got locked down. And he's currently located in Florida, and so they're a little more loose over there anyway. And essentially, he discovered, everyone's at home, but the community wants to come together. So he decided to get Guinness Book of World Records to say that we're on track to break a Guinness Book World Record for largest virtual podcasting event in the history of the world. And yeah, the event is happening August 10th to the 15th. We're having a pre-week event August 3rd through the 8th. And basically anything you can think of around podcasting is going to be there. There's self-publishing con, there's a productivity con. We're bringing in some of the top speakers in the industry who are running 6, 7, 8-figure podcasts. Basically, you learn everything about how to start your podcast from scratch, how to monetize it, how to grow your audiences, how to get high-paying clients from your podcasts. And we also have a bunch of, we call it wildcard tracks, where we bring in other guest speakers who talk about other topics like horror and true crime, and finding super niche topics like making Reese, essentially. And yeah, it's definitely an exciting event. And we're expecting about 200 plus speakers, at least 5,000 people. You just go to podfestexpo.com to get more details, and we're super stoked about that.
That is so awesome. I mean, that is very exciting. I know that next year they'll be knocking on my door after they see my podcast, but that is, no, that's so exciting, really is. So, it all comes down to being able to connect with the right people and draw people in. Give us you don't have to give us your secret, but tell us what you really are looking at when you're connecting with people to draw them in and develop excitement about things like this.
Yeah, so I've always gone off the philosophy and the energy. What I've noticed, I don't know if you remember in school, Russ, you have certain teachers on certain subjects, and some subjects could be super boring because the teacher just wasn't into it. The teacher didn't care. So if the teacher doesn't care, why should you care? And you had other teachers, like even if they're literally teaching you about paint drying on walls, if they're enthusiastic about it, if they're passionate about it, you're like, yeah, I like watching paint dry on walls too. It's awesome. And so I definitely believe in the belief that passion is contagious. If you don't put energy and enthusiasm into something, why should anyone else? And with that said, and you also, of course, want to find the things that people are already talking about and they want to learn more about, and then saying, okay, you want to learn more about this? Here you go. And here's why this is the best thing to learn about right now, making it urgent, and just being able to make that passion contagious.
Yeah, and I can really tie into that because people that know me know that I am a passionate guy and I love connecting with people. And that's what I have found. Passion does draw people. High energy draws people because nobody wants to sit around. And I agree with you 100%. In college, I totally remember that. If the teacher was excited, no matter what the subject was, you were excited. So that is so great. That is great information. Hey, it's amazing how quickly the time goes, but we're drawing to the end. We have just a few minutes left, but I wanted to make sure and give you a chance to tell us how we get in touch with you, and just give us a little more information about that so people can connect to Andrew.
Yeah. So if you actually want to check out my virtual summit that I planned recently and learn how to take your services from zero to high ticket and hear from 6, 7, 8, even we had a 9-figure entrepreneur, David Meltzer, come by to the summit. Because you're listening to this podcast right now, if you actually want to go to fightfluff.com and put in the promo code FREE, all right, promo code FREE, you'll actually get free access to the replays from the summit. And I highly recommend that you do that and take advantage of that. We have so much information over a 3-day event. Highly recommend you look into that. And of course, if you want to connect with me personally, you can follow me on any social media. Well, most social media, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, at the Andrew J. Weiss, at the Andrew J. Weiss. And of course, I'd love to connect with you and hear from you and hear what you have going on.
That is great. I've really enjoyed getting to know you in the short time we've known each other. What a great a young man you are and all the exciting things that you're doing. And so definitely stay in touch. And I definitely want to be able to support you in all that you're doing.
Likewise, Russ. Yeah, no, I appreciate this. This has been awesome.
So listen, we have been just so excited to have Andrew today, and I know there's so much more that you want to know about him. So make sure and connect on the ways that he gave you, whether it's social media or email or whatever he has available. And also don't forget, the best way to get in touch with me is on my website at russhedge.com. Really simple. It's all there. All my social media links and every way to work with me. So I appreciate you. So does Andrew. We've really enjoyed having you here today. And hopefully we've added value to you and given you a better perspective on how amazing people connect. So with that said, have an awesome day. Great to see everybody. Until next time. Bye-bye.